What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be looking at Jordan Reid's 2023 NFL mock draft, and we are going to be continuing it with a second round mock draft. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am because I like looking at ESPN content. It's a lot bigger than some of these sites like PFN, and obviously Jordan Reid is very, very, very respected in this industry. So let's kick right into this. If you guys are new, like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that fun YouTube jazz. Feel free to look down in the comment section below to be even more involved. Discord, even a TikTok. Yes, we actually do have a TikTok. I know, sue me. It's actually really fun. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot more work than even YouTube, but it's a lot more fun just to be able to engage with a lot of people who don't exactly search up all this stuff. So let's kick right into this. Starting off with the number one pick, you got Will Anderson Jr. here. Starting off, I didn't obviously dictate this draft order, so feel free to go off on it in the comment section. Just make sure that you guys don't know that it wasn't me. I don't have the Jets at this spot at all. I believe, have them going 7-10 or 6-11. So I do think that they're going to have a much better than a number one overall season, and I just think it's a little bit insane. Like, can you imagine Jermaine Johnson, Carl Lawson, and Will Anderson? Like, first off, let's just throw out the stupidity of the Jets being at number one, which, again, like, I'm not even like hyping up Zach Wilson here. Like, I just don't think that they're going to be that bad. They have a pretty solid schedule. I think they're going to be perfectly fine. But Will Anderson added to the squad. I guess if you're not going to go QB, you might as well go with a generational player because you can't get too good a pass rush. At worst case scenario, you could trade away Carl Lawson if he's having a good year. Bears go Jalen Carter. I think this would be foolish. Again, I like Jalen Carter a lot. He's my number 6 player in the class, factoring in positional value. However, Jalen Carter is at a lower value position to a team that really just needs to hit a home run. I think Myles Murphy is your guy. You lost Akeem Hicks. You lost Khalil Mack. Like, you need to get some pass rush. Jalen Carter brings it from the interior, and I think he's phenomenal. But when you have an edge rusher of equal, if not greater talent on the board, I'm just going to go with the position that I value a little bit more because that is best player available. So let's go at number 3. The Texans go C.J. Stroud. Yeah. Honestly, you guys know me. I don't even have C.J. Stroud as my number 3 quarterback. I'm still waiting to see it. Again, like, people will say I'm a hater. I'm not. I'm an Ohio State fan. But when we saw Bustin Fields at this height, CJ Stroud isn't even close to it. I'm going to be honest. He's not even close. And we're seeing the struggles that Justin Fields is having in the NFL. I seriously don't see it with CJ. I see a lot of really big red flags. He had some phenomenal games, but we forget the type of game that Fields had versus Clemson after injuring himself. Like, yes, it's not fully written. The story's not fully written on Justin Fields, but CJ Stroud is far from a guaranteed answer. If I'm sitting here and Davis Mills played good enough, I'm going to say, you know what, screw it. I'm going Myles Murphy. I'm going to go Jalen Carter, and I'm going to get that unique player because the next year I still have a chance of getting Caleb Williams, getting after Quinn Ewers. And then, I mean, hell, let's not even start talking about the year after that with obviously Arch Manning. But, there's just a lot more potential there. If you really just believe that Davis Mills is fine or just want to sign a free agent, I digress. I just think that's a very foolish move. Jacksonville Jaguars going Kayshon Boutte. Once again, take a shot. I know my boy Mark is going to talk about that in the comments. Getting a wide receiver 1 is pretty big for this team. Offensive line, I think, could be addressed in free agency. They've already put a lot of value into it, including a new 3-year contract to the left tackle. So I just am not fully confident in their offensive line. Of course, this isn't the draft to address it either. So I'll leave it right there. Honestly, depending on the picks, I might try to go offensive line in the second round, just on the interior. But I digress. I think this is a good pick. If Kayshon can stay healthy, he's really good. Again, I would trade out, but this is a position we saw how Christian Kirk was a bit overpaid, to put it lightly. But if they're really worth that much, then potentially getting a wide receiver 1 caliber player is kind of worth it in the top 5. So we'll see about that. Falcons going Bryce Young. If they're here, it really depends on how much Desmond Ridder plays. Otherwise, I'm going Myles Murphy all day. I'll probably say that for every single pick because Miles Murphy, if you guys don't know, is my number one player in the draft. But if Desmond Ridder is kind of down here, which he's had games like his first preseason game, 2 turnover worthy plays. He didn't perform very well. He had that touchdown. That's great. But again, turnover worthy plays versus starting caliber players ends up becoming turnovers. Again, he had a really good second game. So proud of him for that. He's probably, I think, playing for like right now or yesterday. Regardless, does not matter. I think that if they're in this situation, they played Dez, they don't believe in him, this could be the pick. Because again, Bryce Young is in another league, regardless of how much you like Desmond Ridder. So I think that's not a bad move at all. Again, I would probably just say if you're comfortable enough going a year or 2 with Desmond Ridder or go after a free agent quarterback, then you know what, go BPA, which might not be Bryce Young on your board. Peter Skoronski for the Steelers. I think the Steelers could address left tackle. Peter Skoronski is not the guy to do it. We have, I mean, to be honest, with how crap Kendrick Green has been, you could just kick Skoronski to guard if he fails. But one, I don't think the Steelers are here. I don't. Like, I think the Falcons could be in this range. I think most of these teams could be. The Jets, a little bit heinous that they're at that point. But, you know, with the Steelers sitting at 6, which they shouldn't be, I would still go tackle. I don't have Skoronski as my number 1. I'd go Anton Harrison. He is my number 1 offensive tackle of the class. He's young. He's going to be a true junior coming out, and he's played 3 years at left tackle for a very high-level offense. So I do think that's going to be a much better move. But again, can't complain about offensive line on the Steelers, who haven't gotten it right since they had a legendary offensive line. Panthers going Jackson Smith-Njigba like they need another weapon. I would again be trying to target offensive line here. This, like, assuming, like, this is where I would go after Peter Skoronski and say, hey, you're going to be a guard and then potential fill-in tackle if he gets hurt or something. Like, that's where I would start doing that if we went with Anton Harrison at number 6. Another position I could probably see is maybe edge. Miles Murphy is a really good option there. Again, pairing him up with Brian Burns would be nasty. And then, I mean, like maybe in the second round, we'll think about it, but maybe another running back to be a good insurance option. I know we have Chuba Hubbard, but, you know, Chuba's had his injury history as well. Lions going Will Levis. I don't even have him in my top, I believe, 60. He might be in that 60s range. I seriously do not like him. Everybody says he has a big-time arm, but didn't make big-time plays, and he had some big-time weapons. You know, he had like only 15 big-time throws and couldn't beat out Sean Clifford. Has horrible tendencies in terms of his mechanics as well as his processing. Throws some really stupid passes. PFF has him in their 40s, so I think that they also understand that he's really not as good as people think. It's another guy who I think is going to be falling off as the year goes on. If he doesn't, awesome. I would love to see another big-time quarterback. Seattle Seahawks going Nolan Smith. I don't know if I have him in my top 100. Nolan Smith's a phenomenal competitor. I think that he's someone who I would want in my locker room. The problem is he's really thin, like really, really thin. So when I watch him play, he has absolutely zero effect on any offensive lineman that he can't just get around. In the NFL, the level of athleticism shoots up tremendously. You can filter out a lot of those fat ass tackles, to be blunt. So I just don't see him being really effective. Don't be surprised if you see him fall to the 4th, maybe the 5th round. It's just because of the fact that he has a really hard time engaging with offensive linemen because of the fact that he's small. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's a solid situational pass rusher, and he's one hell of a competitor. Like, his motor is awesome. I would want him on my team. It's just, again, if you can't get around somebody, then he's kind of ineffective. And there's easy ways to scheme around that regardless. At number 10, you got the Giants going Anthony Richardson. I'm a big fan of this one. Yeah, I mean, with your this is perfect. I mean, I don't need to say anything else. Brian Daboll was able to develop Josh Allen in Buffalo. Anthony Richardson's unbelievable. I'm probably going to put him as my number 1 QB. He's my number 2 right now. He's number 2 graded. I think I'm going to put him as my number 1. I'm just going to go balls to the wall with him. He's 6'4", 236 pounds, and has a cannon for an arm with a very quick release. He has so much potential, guys. Just buy into the hype train. Dolphins, yeah, they fucked up. But the Commanders go Keely Ringo here. Getting a boundary corner is a good move, in my opinion. I think that's a very solid move. Then you got the Dolphins here. You get Trent Simpson, who I don't even have, I think, until my top 35, top 40. He has a lot of potential, but the mental part of the game is not there yet. And this is a team that's Super Bowl ready, in my opinion. So apparently not according to these rankings. They're just ridiculous. Like, look at this. The Titans at 13. I even have more faith in the Titans, and people think I'm a Titans hater. Michael Mayer, by the way, if you're gonna like, you got Chig here in Austin Hooper. I know, yeah, 1 year deal, whatever. But like, if you're gonna spend a top 15 pick on a tight end in a really deep tight end class, they really got to be special. And no disrespect to Michael Mayer, he's really not. The more I watched him, he's a very, very, very solid tight end. You get the ball in his hands, he's a beast. But when you look at the different styles of tight ends in this class, I think that he's really not special at all. And something that I would be legitimately concerned about, especially if you're spending a 13th overall pick, when your offensive line is not good, when your wide receivers still need developing. There's just a lot of red flags when it comes to taking just a tight end here. It just doesn't make sense. Bengals going Cam Smith, continuing to develop that secondary. I don't really blame them for it. Again, it's a deep tight end class. And the fact is, this is another bullshit ranking. The Bengals will not be at 14. I'm just going to be honest. The Saints at 15, I could definitely see that happening. Eagles going Brian Breesy. I would not draft him probably if he weren't drafted in the first, in the second round. I think he's lazy. Just to be honest, he's lazy, can't stay healthy, and just doesn't really pop the way a lot of people, I think, are just trying to hype him up. Because people say, oh, what if he returned to his freshman year? Some players just don't. And I didn't see that mentality. You can see with Derek Stingley, you can see those flashes. Like, even last year, he graded out just on his play alone as my number 3 corner. And that's where I capped him, because I kind of balanced out the injury with his reputation. But Brian Breesy looked lazy and slow, and like, for what he was supposed to be, he wasn't the guy who people think he is. Also, people are talking about how Devon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox are both going to potentially leave. You really don't think that they're going to probably put someone else in there or re-sign like Hargrave for a 1 year deal? Like, come on, guys. They're going to spend a first round pick on a defensive tackle 2 years in a row? No. It's like, I really do love Jordan Reid a lot. That's why I'm being a hard ass. But it feels a little bit lazy again. Like, let's plug in Brian Breesy. This is where we're going to put him. But this is a fun pick. Jalen Duncan. I thought I was very high on Jalen Duncan. I have a 3rd round grade on him. And like, I thought I was really high. He's a good tackle, has a lot of potential here. You know, I think that the Raiders might actually be in this range, not because that they're not good, but this first line says it everything. It's going to be a down year in offensive line. It doesn't matter how great your weapons are if you can't throw to them because your ass is on the ground getting planted by an edge rusher. Alex Leatherwood's been a bust. I gave it an F for a reason. It's an absolutely atrocious pick. I still think this would be an atrocious pick given the tackles on the board, but at least you're trying. I do think Jalen Duncan has a lot of potential. I think that he definitely could be. Now you got the Patriots going Paris Johnson. I think that would be very interesting. So Isaiah Wynn's scheduled to be a free agent. I know Bill doesn't like to pay offensive linemen, so I could see it working out. I could. And Paris Johnson's a good player. I have a 2nd round grade on him. If the team is really that desperate, they don't want to pay Isaiah Wynn, which it is understandable given the price of offensive linemen. I think this would be a good move. I really do. Number 18, the Eagles missed the playoffs, even though they're one of the most loaded rosters in the league. Again, it's not Jordan who made this list, guys. So just in case you guys get mad, it's ESPN's bullshit. But Myles Murphy, number 1 player in the class. I mean, again, I'm a huge fan of him, and I think it's a great fit. Ravens going Jordan Addison here. Again, replacing Marquise Hollywood Brown with essentially a Marquise Hollywood Brown isn't exactly what I would go after, but go for it. Foskey, not a huge fan of him. Again, like, I just don't really see it. He is kind of a worse Darrell Shami, and I just don't see it. I really don't. I think he could be here, but I think this Travon Walker hype is getting Foskey a little bit too much love. Then you got Christian Gonzalez here. He's a beast. I do like Christian Gonzalez a lot. I actually graded him out, and he definitely graded as a 1st rounder for me because he's he's pretty damn locked down. But I'm trying to remember my exact rating scale. We're gonna be putting up stuff like the in a nutshell scouting reports on my website. So again, we have a link down in the description that brings you guys to see the average draft position of every player that I go after, because we're going to be having a mock draft come out very, very, very soon. I just have a 12-page paper due tomorrow. It's not good. It's a long story, but Christian Gonzalez is going to make it on there. We'll be showing all that, and we're going to have all those linked either down in the description or else in that file. So feel free to check it out. Texans going Tyree Wilson. I have not been able to fully scout him, but the people who I trust don't really have him anywhere near this range. Chiefs going Andre Carter. I have him as a top 15 player. I think he's a beast, and honestly, I'd be very scared of facing off against the power of George Karlaftis and the speed of Andre Carter. And both of them are pretty big too, so big fan of that. You got the Seahawks going TBD. Big fan of that pick. They went, who did they go after with that 9th overall pick? That was like kind of crazy. Yeah, Nolan Smith. So they busted the first pick per Seahawks fashion, but they ended up getting a solid player here at pick 24. Buccaneers going Ricks. I don't think that's the best move. Honestly, I don't think he fits the scheme very well. I don't think Trayvon Diggs is a good comp at all, with all due respect. I think Ricks is built to be a zone corner, not really the playmaker that I would expect from Diggs. And he also has athletic kind of downsides to him. So I would say other corners, I mean, if you want to go like a man-to-man, even Tyreek Stevenson would be a good option. But hey, you know what? You know what I actually like about this list? They're telling you what other positions you could target, and I think that's a good idea. Quentin Johnston for the Colts, like they need more weapons, but hey, I would freaking love it. You know, Quentin Johnston's a very good player. I have him around 32, so he's a good player. Big fan of him. And then you got the Lions here with Bijan. Did not think that this was going to be the right move. You say that DeAndre Swift has struggled with health. You know, that's great. Not really. That was kind of sarcastic. But Jamal Williams had, I believe, a 2-year contract, and it's coming up to the end of it. I can understand the need, but it's just not worth the value. This running back class is loaded. Chargers going Siaki Ika. He is a pretty damn good player, but he straight up has no athleticism. I don't really want a bowling ball in the middle of my defensive line if I'm spending a first-round pick, unless it's Travis Jones or else. Oh, wow, I just tripped up Jordan Davis. Siaki Ika is not even close to either of them. So, yeah, not a big fan of that. Noah Sewell. Oh, no. I don't think, well, for one, let's talk, like the Cowboys aren't going to be here, for Christ's sakes. Like they don't even have a wide receiver. But Noah Sewell, I could see it. Like again, I don't think linebacker is a bad thing for the Cowboys. It's just the idea of the Cowboys being here that's a little bit gross to me, because I love the Cowboys. Again, I live in Dallas, so I'm supposed to support them. But man, there's no way in hell I could just be like, yeah, they're going to be at pick 29. Jaheim Bell for the Packers is fun. I've never seen that pick. That's a fun pick. I really like that. And then you got Antonio Johnson here for the Bills. He's a top 10 player on my board. I have a late 1 on him usually, but his versatility and ceiling is so good. I'm such a fan. As a slot corner, I had him as a late 1st, and that values slot part of that corner. And then I think he could transition to outside. So big fan of what the Bills did right there. Let's slide right into the mock draft. We'll slide my face over here, make it a little bit more pleasing, so to speak. We already have everything up, ready to go. But the Jets started off the draft somehow at number 1 overall. Beats me. And they ended up selecting Will Anderson. Now, I think if you are really still in that position, you could be looking for a succession plan at quarterback that is legitimate. But given the quarterback's already taken off the board, you're not getting much better. I think looking at a right tackle would be a great option. You could bring back Fant 1 more year. Broderick Jones has tackle versatility. He can play left or right, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go Broderick Jones here. I thoroughly believe offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. And wait a second. What did I just say? Offensive line? Yeah, we're going to go Anton Harrison here. I think he's an absolute monster. People don't look at the ADP for this. It's just not worth it. Like Blake Freeland and Zion Johnson, they're not even close to better than Anton Harrison or Broderick Jones. Both are top tier tackles. Then At pick 34, we got the Texans back on the board. Texans took C.J. Stroud. Now, what do we want to do here? We could, I think their secondary's looking pretty good. They got two guys going to be entering year two there who are both supposed to be studs. Obviously, Jalen Pitchery, who graded out as a top 5 or top 6 player in my draft, on my draft board. He's been balling out. And then obviously, do I have to talk about Derek Stingley? No. So this is another squad that could look at tackle. Again, you're going to probably have to extend Titus Howard, and that is something that you could look to address. Again, we've kind of been handed some really good keys here. But I would also want to look at the wide receivers here because you got Jermaine Burton. I think that'd be a really good option. If you're getting CJ Stroud up in this house, he has a cannon for an arm, and I still want to just continue developing. Your offensive line's okay. It's developing, and you have some really good pieces there. You could look at tight end. You could look at Eric Gilbert, Sam Laporta, who's a beast. People try to shit on me for Sam Laporta, but you'll see. Don't worry. You'll see. I think that going after wide receiver is extremely valuable, especially with that deep threat arm. You're just continuing to develop a super nice squad there. Brandon Cooks, if he ever wants to leave, this might be the next version of him. So Jermaine Burton is a really good get here. For the Jaguars here at pick number 35, you look at their roster, and I could go another corner just because. We're going to be doing 7-round mocks with these teams, especially when TDN gets their head and ass wired together, because they owe us, everybody, pretty much their money back, or else a full year, because we haven't been able to use it, and they took down all of our accounts. Regardless, enough bitching. I think tight end wouldn't be a bad move. They got Evan Ingram, which shows that they know that they have that need. I'm going to actually go after Eric Gilbert here. I said I was going to go offensive line in this, but Voorhees is the best one. I want to get a super weapon with Eric Gilbert. Then we have the Falcons. I'm wondering, it doesn't even say the needs. That's really lame. Like, I was just curious what they said the needs were. A cornerback is still a position I want to target. We were looking at it during the offseason before they got Casey Hayward. Garrett Williams is locked down to me. I don't care. He's a baller. Jalen Jones is my number 1 corner, but I think Garrett Williams would be a beast. Like, he has safety and corner versatility, so I really like him. Steelers, this seems just kind of as good as you can get for me for a fit. Joey Porter Jr., really good zone corner, very good in press, has some flashes in man. People are going to be sleeping on Joey Porter. He is a top 10 player in the class to me. Pick number 38, we can go after an edge rusher here. And there's somebody who I really like in this group. His name's Zion Tupuloa Fatui. The guy has first-round caliber. He has first-round pedigree. He had some injuries, and he literally had a tweet saying, like, on the 20th, like, that feeling when on your 20th snap, you get triple teamed. This guy is a freak, and he has super powerful arms. So just watch out. This guy, once he gets his confidence back, he's going to be kicking ass. Pick number 39 for the Lions. I'm tempted to go Brian Branch here. I want to look at the other corners because I really like Brian Branch. I think he can move the boundary. I don't know if he is because I know Malachi Moore is back. If he is, oh my God, there's so much potential here. I think I might do it anyway, but we're going to do it. Brian Branch. I would look at Jalen Jones as well. This actually might be the guy who I go with here. And you don't see Jalen Jones, which sucks. So obviously I'm going to be selecting Noah Daniels here. People are overhyping him just because it is. But this pick, just for the people who are actually listening, is going to end up being a cornerback pick still, but it's going to be Jalen Jones. Cornerback out of Texas A&M, 6'2", 205 pounds. Pretty damn solid in terms of athleticism, but so smart. He's so smart. He recognizes plays developing behind him. I'm telling you guys, like, that's just something that I fall in love with. And I think that's a big, big asset. Pick number 41, this team now has Anthony Richardson on its roster. You could look in the linebacker room here because you have HTT still on the board, which is great, but we might stray away from that. Gervon Dexter would be fun to add in. Again, you lost out on BJ Hill last year, but we're going to go guard here. Andrew Voorhees, I do think continuing to develop that interior is never a bad thing. Let's make it awesome with my number 1 overall lineman in the class. Pick number 42, we have the Dolphins. Tackle, unfortunately, just isn't good enough, in my opinion, at the moment. We could definitely, like you think about it, running back's not really that much of a priority, but there are so many good ones. So I'm going to take a shot on him. He's going to run in the 4.2s. He's been clocked 4.24. Devon A-Chain, if he continues to develop, this guy's an elite weapon, pretty much your Raheem Mostert replacement for the next couple of years. Maybe the next 10 years. You never know. Pick number 43, the Commanders are on the board, and they ended up going a wide receiver, or a corner, the exact opposite in round one. We're going to go Tanner McKee here and see what happens. You have Sam Howell there, yes, but there's a lot of development, and I don't think Ron Rivera is going to want all the pressure. You're taking a second round pick on a guy who beat cancer at 16. He's a really good locker room guy, and Davis Mills has actually had a lot of success. Tanner McKee might just be even better. Niners. So I'm actually going to do something weird. We're going to go Gervon Dexter here. Like, I know you have Eric Armstead. I know you have, Javon Kinlaw. But Gervon Dexter is BPA. He's a beast. You just have to. You just have to at a certain point. The Titans. I'm still going to go guard. I think guard or tackle is the necessity at the moment. You look at the guys on the board. Javon Foster is definitely intriguing to me, and I might go with that. But I'm going to go with a different player. And he's not even listed here. His name's Osiris Torrance, and he's going to Florida, formerly Louisiana. And he's going to be coming in and just being an absolute mauler in the run game. I'm a huge fan of him. Pick number 46 for the Bengals, who should not be there. It's going to be tight end. It's going to be Sam Laporta. I probably would potentially do it in the late first. He is in my top 25. So I really do love Sam Laporta. Pick number 47, you have the developing New Orleans Saints. And honestly, wide receiver is a position I really want to target still. Unfortunately, they don't really have jack shit here in terms of wide receivers. It's pretty embarrassing PFF. For you guys need to step up your game. But I still would look in this cornerback room because we just kind of want to get BPA. And Tyree Stevenson's 212 pounds, who can probably run a 4.5. So I'm just going to continue stacking that DB room because why not? You did it in the second round this year. So continue doing that and just rock it out, dude. He's a beast. He's a first round grade for me. BPA. Pick number 48. We might go back to the cornerback room here for the Raiders. We already went offensive line. Hallelujah. I don't know if it's exactly the O-line I would go after, but do your thing. Wide receiver, I think, is good. Running back, not good. So we're going to go running back here. Looking at the guys on the board, I really like Jahmyr Gibbs, but I'm going to go Sean Tucker here out of Syracuse. He has a lot of juice to him. He has a lot of spark. I think this is a great team for him to go to. Pick number 49, you have the Pats on the board. And who they go with the first? Who they do it? They went Paris Johnson. I like that. We're gonna go a wide receiver here, and he's not even listed, which sucks. It's my number 2 wide receiver. We're gonna go Xavier Hutchinson. Tyler Harrell's not gonna be drafted, so that's why we're gonna do that. Xavier Hutchinson's a beast, so we're gonna be sticking with that. The Eagles are here. Honestly, this might be another linebacker selection because Kaiser is on a 1-year deal, and getting backup linebackers is never a bad thing. Safety, though, man, I don't have anybody worth it, honestly, at this point in the draft. So corner could be another position to target. I'm not going to do that right at the moment. I don't think anybody's worth it on the board. Yeah, so for me, we're going to be going Henry To'o. I think that his value is just about right because he'd be taken by the Ravens next. And honestly, I'm not in the mood to give Ravens more amazing players. Just kidding. Pick number 51. The Ravens, I mean, they don't need anything. Just to be blunt, they don't. You could go after corner and get a developmental guy here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Chris Abrams, Drain, or Clark Phillips, I don't know. I'm going to go Clark Phillips here, though, because he can play on the boundary if need be. Chris Abrams, Drain is 177. Not good. Not good on that. Versus 185. It might not be that big of a difference to you, but if I'm not mistaken, he's an inch shorter as well as 8 pounds lighter. Just going to be probably better for his longevity. Pick number 52, the Vikings. This is a team that needs a corner. desperately. I don't know if I can go Kyle Blue Kelly yet because I might just go Chris Abrams Drain and put him at slot safety. We're going to do that because I think I might want to have him have range around the safety room as well. There's no depth in that safety core. Chris Abrams Drain is worth a first round pick as well to me. He's a beast. Pick number 53 for the Cards. Woof. This is going to be a running back. This was a big issue I had with them. Their tackles were okay. Their guard depth, if I'm not mistaken, was phenomenal. But we're going to be getting them an actual stud at running back here. Jahmyr Gibbs. It's going to be a really nice compliment back to James Conner. 54 for the Browns. I don't know how they're going to be here with pretty much their quarterback gone for the entire year, but heyo. This needs to probably be another wide receiver. We already went Xavier Hutchinson. I think going, man, there's just not that much in this draft, especially for this. We're going to end up going with Zay Flowers. So I don't like Parker Washington, just to be honest. So we're going to put Parker, but we're going to go Zay Flowers. Really nice gadget weapon who can play in or out. 55 for the Chiefs. I might want to go offensive line for them or defensive line, but we already went that in this. So you could look at safety and just say, hey, we're going to get BPA and try to develop Brandon Joseph. I'm not in that bunch personally. Just not really a fan of the guys on the board. Tyler Davis is a guy who I probably want to select, but not right now. Ooh, we need to get a running back, though. We do. We need to get a true RB1. Zach Evans is the guy who I'm targeting here. Blake Corum's a fun option, but Zach, I think, can actually carry a full workload. The Seahawks are back on the board after going corner, quarterback, and edge rusher. They still might want to go that edge rusher route because I don't think they addressed it, but let's continue. I think a linebacker could be something to do target. It just sucks so much in this draft, guys, that I'm not going to pull that trigger. They could go after offensive line here, though. There's some really good players here. I'm going to try to get somebody who, like, in my opinion, is pretty damn solid. Layden Robinson can play guard or tackle, has a lot of potential. And Christian Mahogany tore his ACL, so I don't think he's going to be coming out this year. Bucks. So quarterback, not really on the board for you guys, to be honest. So that kind of sucks, but, that's okay. I think that you could try to get a true running back one. You could. Or you could try to get a compliment back. So I'm going to go Blake Corum and say, hey, we're taking a good shot on having somebody who could be a big game changer for us. The Colts are on the board. A tackle is still a position that I would want to target for him. And I'm going to go after a high ceiling player in Javon Foster. For the Rams here, I think also going after offensive tackle wouldn't be a bad idea. And Blake Freeland has a lot of potential. It feels like something the Rams would do. Chargers. Right tackle still has potential. I still think that you could go after someone like Robert Scott to be that plug and play. I'm not going to do that. I think you could go after a wide receiver position here, and getting a gadget weapon like Raheem Jarrett is nasty. Guys should be in the 4-3 range. Cowboys, and this is another team that needs a wide receiver, man. It really does. But offensive line is going to be pretty desperate, pretty barren, and I'm a little bit worried for y'all, just to be honest. It's not looking good. So I don't really think this is a draft for it, though. I don't. The more I'm looking at it, the less I like it. Also, it doesn't help that PFF is crap. But man, like this is a tough situation, especially for you guys right now. You can't even get running back. That's like the best part. We're gonna potentially go Darrell Shawnee here. We're gonna get some continual depth at edge. I know it's not ideal at all, but you have Micah Parsons who can play linebacker and edge. You can get a full-time edge rusher at 260 pounds, who's a freak athlete. I think that's a good option. So do with that what you will. I know that Leighton Vander Esch is up for a contract again, so you could still keep Micah at linebacker. And then you got Darrell coming off the edge. Pick number 62 for the Packers. I think wide receiver wouldn't be a bad option. I think A.T. Perry, even though he's not listed around this range, wouldn't be a bad option, but we're going to do it. A.T. Perry, he's 6'5", he's smooth. I just don't think he's that good, but I think that you could definitely give him a shot here. And then the Bills ending off the draft. I think guard is a good spot for them. But I'm looking, oh, man, this is a tough spot because I really want to go Christian Mahogany, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go John Michael Schmitz out of Minnesota here. He's a consistent starter, and I think he could be able to move to guard. So that's going to be the draft and the whole entire video. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.